Hey everybody, welcome once again to DVD Tuesday, the only DVD review show that has been alternating back and forth between live-action Japanese films and anime, but is quickly running low on live-action films that I have in my collection. But today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of all time. Granted, I haven't seen it in forever. Gozu. This is one of the trippiest, most fucked up, most disturbing movies in my collection, but it is also just a lot of fun. This is a movie from director, oh my god, his name slipped my mind completely. From director Takashi Miike, who you probably, if you are a fan of Japanese cinema, or if you're a fan of Z cinema or anything like that, you've probably heard of him for his incredibly violent and strange films like Ichi the Killer, Audition, fucking Dead or Alive, not any of the video game related ones. He did a readaptation of 13 Assassins. You may also know him for the Phoenix Wright movie or for the Yatterman movie. I don't know if he's involved in this upcoming JoJo one, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's done a few anime adaptations and manga and game adaptations, and all his films are fucking weird. That's what he's known for. Weird fucking movies. And all in different ways. Some of his films, like 13 Assassins and, I don't remember the name of the other one, but some of them are more like period dramas that are more straightforward. They're like almost Oscar-worthy kinds of movies. Some of them are just batshit insane. He's got a movie called Sukiyaki Western Django, in which Quentin Tarantino shows up as a character and gets murdered at the beginning. And it's a samurai flick in which everyone speaks English. All the Japanese actors speak English through the whole movie. It is fucking hilarious and awful. Some of them are unhinged. All of them are usually violent, unless it's like a kid's movie, and just sort of insane. Now, I personally am not a big horror guy. I'm not a big gore hound or anything like that. I just like his movies because some of them are fun and trippy, but usually his movies have kind of slow midsections. They're all about the opening and ending 10 minutes, really. Like, his movies always start off with some really fucking crazy shit happening, and then they end with some even crazier fucking shit happening. And sometimes the midsection in between can be kind of boring. Case in point would be Dead or Alive, which has one of the coolest opening and ending scenes of any movie I've ever seen, and the entire rest of the movie is boring as hell. He's done some that are exciting all the way through. Happiness of the Katakuris is a utter trip. That one's a musical that's about zombies. And family. That's a fucking weird one, and it's forever long. Visitor Q, which is really bizarre and entertaining, and really fucked up. But Gozu, what I love about this movie is that it's every bit as trippy and weird and mental as his other movies, but it's not dark. It doesn't have that, like, gross out edge. It's not very violent. In fact, the overall message of this film is pretty fucking friendship is magic-ish. Like, it's the ultimate message in the end is like, we're all buddies kind of thing, but in the most twisted and weird way imaginable. And it's very Lynchian. It's compared to Mulholland Drive right here on the back. I haven't seen Mulholland Drive, but it's that brand of just like, oh, what am I looking at now? So the opening scene, basically the movie's about these two gangsters, these two Yakuza members. One of them's an older guy, one of them's a younger guy. And the older guy has lost his mind. Like, everyone knows this guy's gone insane. He's gone off the deep end. He's doing weird shit. He's become a really strange guy. And so the Yakuza members, they tell this younger dude, they're like, man, look, you gotta take this guy somewhere and get rid of him. Like, we can't have him in our gang anymore. He's too fucking weird. The opening scene is of him doing some really fucking weird shit, and they're like, yeah, we gotta get rid of this guy. So he drives this guy out. He's trying to drive him out into the middle of Japan so he can go off him. But he doesn't want to do it because they're friends. He likes this guy. He thinks he's cool. But he also can see that this guy's going insane. So they show up in this town where everything's just kind of fucking weird. Like, everyone they encounter, like, the main character guy, who's the younger of the two Yakuza, he's the only normal straight man character in the movie. But his main thing is that he's a virgin, and he really hopes to lose his virginity eventually. But, and I'm sure that this movie is sort of meant to be some kind of metaphor involving virginity, but hell if I know what it is. So as he's going through this town, he just keeps meeting all these really fucking weird people who are doing these like strange mimetic activities. Again, very Lynchian. There's a woman who runs an inn who's trying to feed them breast milk. At one point, this goat head guy or boar head guy shows up. He's just there. It's almost like a Silent Hill kind of experience. Like they're just in a weird town and weird shit's happening. And the older Yakuza guy just seems to keep getting away from the younger guy. And he's like trying to keep tabs on him and sort of following him deeper and deeper into this bizarre place. Eventually they meet a girl who joins their team and they're kind of hanging out. And the thing about this movie, what I find really interesting about the trajectory of it is that in the beginning it feels very discordant and it's kind of creepy. Like at the beginning you're thinking, where is this going? Like it's just so weird and unsettling, and like, is this gonna become a horror movie? Is this gonna become, where's this going? And then as it goes, it kind of becomes more and more of a comedy. It keeps feeling more like, okay, this is all meant to be wacky. Like we're meant to think this is hilarious. And that all culminates in the climax, which is particularly kind of funny, and it ends up being sort of an uplifting movie. But the ending, I cannot say anything about, other than that it's my favorite ending of any movie. It is the most I've ever loved an ending of a movie. So I highly recommend this. I highly recommend watching it through to the end. Even if you find yourself bored, like if you watch this movie and you take to it immediately, good, just watch it. If you watch this movie and you get kind of bored, but you're willing to see it through, at least stick around for the ending. And I also recommend watching it with other people. This is a great reaction movie. It's a great, I want to see how my friends will react to what happens in this movie kind of movie, because it's a bunch of weird shit, you know? So hopefully I haven't said too much or spoiled too many of the weird things that happen, but like, it's a good time. It's fun. It's a good introduction to Takashi Miike because it's lighter than a lot of his other work, unless you're trying to introduce like some gorehound, but they probably know about Takashi Miike. Like, I mean, if you just want to go straight for the most intense shit, you'll just go watch Ichi the Killer, but that is really violent and really stomach churning. This is good fun. This is just a fun time. And from here, I would recommend like Happiness of the Categories or Visitor Q. Visitor Q's a lot more twisted, but still really fun. So, yeah. Anyway, I love this movie. I've had a poster for it behind me on my desk for quite some time, so you may have, seen it back there and been curious about it. Now you know. And that's it for this episode of DVD Tuesdays. I'll catch you in the next one.